What's up, my lambs? Welcome back to the Available Post Podcast, the podcast where I speak into the void and then, you know what, I just talk about whatever the hell I feel like talking about. And today, I'm spoiling the movie The Deliverance, not to be confused with the 70s movie Deliverance, with the dueling banjos and the squealing like a pig and stuff like that, but Netflix's 2024 The Deliverance. A movie that my wife put on last night, and I sat down and said, all right, I'll watch this movie. And she's like, it's a thriller. And I'm like, okay, cool, we'll watch this thriller. So basically, spoilers for The Deliverance. Not that you should watch this movie. Spoiler of my spoiler review. I didn't like this movie. This movie kind of pissed me off a little bit. We're gonna get the elephant out of the room. It's in the room right now. We're gonna put it away. It is based on a true story, and we'll get into the true story too, because I read up just a little bit. I mean, I'm not deep diving. If you want true crime, go there's 400,000 different true crime things. But like, if you want true crime, this is not the place for true crime. This is for fake crimes only. Thought crimes, maybe. But yeah, so the Deliverance, basically, you know, you got a family, and they're struggling. They're in North or South Carolina, one of the two. They're struggling, primarily black neighborhood. You know, the kids are getting bullied at school. They just move. Dad's gone. Money's tight. Mom's a bit feisty. She was in jail. Their grandma's living with them. She's a piece of work too. She's going through chemo though, so they're, you know, that's more expenses for the family kind of thing. Things are, you know, it's cheap. You gotta cut on costs, things like that. The family's always fighting. Mom's got a drinking problem, or used to. And yeah, you know, they move in the house. Flies start appearing. Kind of weird. You know, it's just like for the first like hour of the movie, you know, it's like a good thriller drama. Things are kind of happening, and yeah, it's all good. And then afterwards. Oh, my wife just sent me a message. In her fortune cookie, it said something special will happen at home soon. 16, 23, 32, 36, 41, 44. So things are going strange, man. Things are going crazy. In screen, off screen, everything's crazy. So like the family, they're having problems. They're texting their dad. She's telling them he's in Iraq, but I don't think he actually is. I think he's actually just in New Jersey. So that's kind of weird as well, considering I'm pretty sure like the story set in like 2011. Were they still in Iraq in 2011? I don't know. I'm Canadian. I don't know shit about any of that. Anyways, it doesn't matter. It starts getting weird. The kid starts talking to a friend in the walls. And, you know, her mom has gotten better. She's like, you know, you gotta just kind of find Jesus. And that's where it should have clicked with me. It should have clicked with me as like, no. This movie's gonna fucking suck. But it didn't click with me then. Okay? What it did is it was, I was gonna say, you know, it didn't click with me that that's what this movie was gonna be, because I didn't know anything going into this movie. I just literally didn't even know the title. Just sat down, and my wife's just like, yeah, then we're gonna watch this. And I was like, okay. Well, she watched it, and I just sat down and watched it with her. You know, so, you know, the mom's a piece of work, but whatever. She's like, you know, but Jesus saved me. And you're like, okay, all right, whatever. Jesus saved you, okay? And obviously her daughter's like, listen, Jesus isn't going to pay the fucking bills. Which, yeah, duh, Jesus is going to pay the bills. So, you know, history of abuse. There's like the CPS coming in, trying to like the Child Protective Services coming in and being like, hey, we got to check it up, the court order, whatever, you got custody. We got to make sure everything's okay over here. You know, she's played by Monique. She did a great job. Actually, all the acting in the movie, pretty good. I'm going to say the acting in the movie, pretty good. Decent. Liked it. I don't think anyone had like a bad acting as far as like I could like noticeably tell. There were some pretty funny outfits. Pretty funny wigs and stuff. But other than that, it was good, you know. But, you know, obviously, you get introduced to the mom character. She's the main character mostly, and then the kids like kind of do stuff. And the one kid starts talking to people and acting up. keeps on going down to the basement, says he's got a friend named Tori, things like that, whatever. And so he starts doing weird stuff, starts getting hurt now, like banging his head on the walls, doing weird stuff. She starts drinking, getting mad. She says, you know, they're all like cowering in a corner at one point because she like freaks out at them, and you don't see it on screen, but there's like a dent in the wall, and all the kids are like, yo, she threw us at the wall, which is, you know, fucked up, obviously. All the kids are scared and stuff, and like the grandma's like, you can't do that. Get out of here, whatever, and they fight and stuff. But then it starts getting like obviously more and more like they're possessed. Like one of the kids tries to drown the other kid. There's like a lot of like self-harm stuff going on, like weird things like that, until finally they all like break, and at school, like the younger kid like starts throwing poo, and the other one starts like doing weird shit and just laughing at like one of the teachers talking about like how people are dying of AIDS, which is kind of fucked up. And then the girl just like is just like bleeding, and she's just standing there like it's all like weird, and like they're all possessed to some extent. Weird stuff keeps on happening in the house. She doesn't know what to do. CPS is finally like, well, that's enough. Like obviously I've seen this. Like you're crazy. You're like not in the like crazy black woman kind of way, but like in like you need psychological help. Like, and these kids are like kind of buying into like your weird like psychosis, and that's why they're acting up for you. We're gonna take them away and bring them to the hospital. Which, I mean, yeah. So far, everything's making sense. Okay? And then, you know, whatever, they check things out, and it's like that. And you're like, okay. And then, you know, somehow they're back in the house. Like, I guess they went into like the checkup, and like everyone was fine after like the school thing, and no one knows what's going on. And okay, they're back in the house. She leaves for work or something, or she's out of the house for a second, and grandma gets choked out by a ghost. Right? Like literally like strangled to death by a ghost. The cross is on fire. She comes home, there's like smoke all over the house. So she was about to, you know, unfire the house with her little fire extinguisher. Then she sees her mom dead. She never undoes the house. Okay, but this is where like the things that start pissing me off come out, right? House is like weirdly on fire. So the fire department obviously comes. They got police. They got like paramedics and stuff, right? Mom's dead, right? All of a sudden, no investigation. No investigation. There's like literally, you can see the hand marks on the like grandma's neck. No police investigation. They don't care. That part doesn't matter, right? That part also doesn't happen in the real story. This is just like every part they add in, like for the weird stuff that they add in, it makes the story so much stupider. So grandma is dead now, and she's choked out. No one cares though. I don't know. Bad neighborhood. I guess you just decide that it doesn't matter. Like bad neighborhood. Who cares? Who cares? She's dead now. You know? Choking marks. I don't know. Maybe she strangled herself. Maybe she set the cross on fire, strangled herself, and then waited for her daughter to come home to find her. That's crazy. Fine. Whatever. I guess they said like, you know, who knows if that was like, what? I guess no murder. No murder. So they try and leave the house. Then the boy starts like saying some shit like, you know, you killed everyone. He's possessed by the devil still. So whatever. And then she breaks down, walks into a diner. Everyone gets scooped up. In between this, before grandma dead, and after like, you know, last visit of CPS kind of thing. I guess they haven't been taken. The kids haven't been taken yet, which is kind of crazy. But they're like on the verge of being taken. So like before that happened, there's this person that's been watching outside the house, and she finally like corners her at the bar. She thinks she's working for obviously CPS as like a private detective looking, right? Or like I thought when I was watching, I was like, oh, it's probably like the dad like using a private investigator to see what's going on so he can get custody of the kids. That's kind of what was going through my head, but that no, way stupider than that. No, sorry, it's the disciple of God, a what did she call it? I don't know. She's basically John Constantine coming over and being like, "Hi, yeah, the Jesus flows through me. I'm a pilgrim missionary, and I'm here to exorcise the actual devil that is possessing your kids. I couldn't save the kid that lived there before that died, did the same thing, but your kids, yeah, I can help." And they're talking in a McDonald's with a beautiful little McCafe advertisement there the entire time, which is hilarious to me. And, you know, our protagonist is just sitting there listening to this absolute insane pastor telling them, it's like, yeah, I'm the power of God. I can get Jesus to go through me and touch people and just, you know, exorcise the demon. But it's not really an exorcism. It just scares it away kind of thing. And I was like, okay. And, you know, our main protagonist says, what the fuck? No. I no. Get away from me, you actual freak. She gives her a piece of paper and says, like, well, you're going to need this anyways, you know. After the grandma dies, she drives away and she breaks down, goes to, like, a thing. She goes to like just a diner or something in the middle of the night. It's raining and stuff. She's like, "Oh, people are killing my kids," and they go and see the kids, and they're like, "Okay, this lady is obviously not right. Let's send them all to the hospital." And they get sent to the hospital, and you know she's been drinking because they check her blood alcohol level. So the kids are now taken away. Good old the youngest kid who's been like fully possessed is in like the hospital still. Protective care. The other two get sent to I don't know, some Bible camp or whatever. What is it? A foster care system? Bible for like, but a Jesus based one, I guess. So they're over in a convent somewhere, and he's over in the hospital, like speaking in tongues and levitating and, you know, acting crazy like he's possessed. And they're all like, "Oh, that's weird." And good old Monique, Cynthia Henry, as she is, the CPS worker, comes in and is like, "Okay, well, I want to see the kid, whatever." And she starts talking to him, and then all of a sudden, you know, we find out that her son died. That's why she became the, that's why she got into this profession. And then the kid's like, "Oh, yeah, he likes to watch you sleep like your kid or whatever." And then he, like, breaks from his restraints and crawls up on the wall in very, very bad CGI. And you look at it like, okay, well, that's stupid. I hate that. So, but that's when that was like the second flag for me. The first all the Jesus talk, I was like, I don't know if I like where this is going. Then like the bad CGI like demon thing, I was like, it's 2024. Like, can we never do this ever again? Right? Like, it looked pretty bad. Which, I mean, I can forgive like some things, like lower budget movies and stuff. Like, it's gonna look goofy if you have a kid walking up backwards up a wall. So, whatever. But, you know, that's fine. It goes down, and that's fine, and they're doing the thing, and you're like, okay. Good old Monique gets spooked. She's like, whoa, I don't want to deal with any of this. That kid walked up backwards, knew some stuff. She hit the panic button, and I guess like the hospital guy was a bit pissed off that she hit the panic button. But to her defense, if you saw a child break from his restraints and crawl up backwards like fucking Spider-Man, you'd be like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna hit this stupid panic button. That makes sense to me. Okay, yeah. So that happens, and now the movie gets like the pinnacle of stupid. So main character goes to to our John Constantine character. And, oh yeah, by the way, the mom, her name was Alberta, which is very funny to me as a Canadian, but it was played by Glenn Close, which is good. You know, she did a great job as the mom as well. But that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. So we're going over, and it was very crazy because she went to the priest, and the priest was like, yeah, all you need is faith. Faith can do it. So we're going to pray together. So they have a little pray session, and they spend like a bunch of time just praying. And I was like, okay, sure. So then their next plan was to dress up in scrubs with a fake ID, steal her son from the hospital. Getaway vehicle was the priest's car. Bring them back to the house. and then do like their weird exorcism, not exorcism. First of all, that plan, absolutely stupid. Cameras everywhere. She's like walking down like the hallway and stuff, like, "Hey, what's up? How you doing?" To like all the other like people, and like literally like the subtitles are all like, they're all just like, "Who the hell was she?" Like that is like a crazy person's here to steal a child, which is what happened. That's what happened. It's crazy. So then, they're in the hell of house, and she's, talking her stuff, and she's doing her thing. And it's like, yeah, you just can't ever doubt. Once you doubt, then you're dead, basically. Okay, yeah. And guess what happens? Yeah, that's right. The priest, John Constantine herself, goes down and dies because she didn't have faith. So the spirit picked her up and threw her to the ground a whole bunch of times and just like literally crushed her. In her dying breath, she's like, "You take this. Don't lose faith like I did," and then like dies. So we have corpse 2 in the house. Okay. So then, demon mom and son fight happens. Demon baby, she gets like beaten up, thrown around and stuff, and then it goes very anime, and she, talks to God, and then, jumps up, gives him the old skibbity bop, like, I guess you call it talking in tongues, but really it just sounds like the scat man scatting around, and then, blows up the demon, whatever. Demon's gone now. So if you just have to have a little more faith or else you die. And that was the moral of the story. But then she exorcises the demon or whatever through like the voice of God. I guess she got the Jesus touch, but the actual pastor who's spent their entire life, training themselves to do this and stuff, nothing, right? Like, doesn't matter. You just need to know that you're loved. Terrible. All you need is Jesus? No. Garbage. Hated that part. Entire ending didn't make any sense. But that's not where the movie ends, and that's not even where I get the most mad. It cuts to like, 6 months later or something. The whole family's back together. They're driving to Jersey to patch things up with the dad and live with her aunt. Okay, there's a body in your house. The priest is dead. Right? No one cares about that? John Constantine's just a corpse in the house and that's fine? Doesn't matter? No one cares? Like it never happened? You stole your son from... you stole your son from the hospital in a getaway vehicle. Literal kidnapping. And you can just get your kids back? You're that, like... I obviously none of that happened in like the story it's based on because that's fucking crazy. But yeah, then it ends and they're just like, yeah, happy ending. Haha, everyone's alive except for, the priest and the mom who got both strangled and then like literally bludgeoned to death. But I guess that it was just that crazy kooky house, Insane. Completely insane. And yeah, that's how it ended. It was 2 hours long. There was parts I liked. I mean, the first half was kind of interesting. You didn't really know where it was going. It was well done. People like, the story was good. It was kind of, yeah, it was like a character building thriller kind of thing. They built the characters well, and then they threw it all into the dumpster right at the end, and like none of it mattered. So that was something. I hated that. So that's my movie review. I wouldn't watch it. It's definitely not worth 2 hours. First hour was pretty cool, at least. Like, made sense. Yeah. Now we're going to talk about the true story. So, like, obviously, it's, trigger warning, this is real stuff. Like, it shouldn't be fake stuff, whatever. Real stuff, basically, a family in South North Carolina, one of the Carolina somewhere, Indiana. I think in the film they were from Indiana, but I think the actual story they're supposed to be in. Oh yeah, it looks like it was done by the Indianapolis Star. On Carolina Street. Sorry, it's in Indiana. Okay. It's in Indiana. I don't know my geography. I barely know where I am. What happened was she said something was going on with the house. Flies were coming in the winter like crazy, which, you know, you live in a place where cold happens. That's not really something normal. Like a lot of flies in the winter, not really normal, especially on like the screen door, front porch kind of thing. You don't get flies in the winter when it gets like that cold. So that was kind of weird for them, which makes me think like, I don't know, probably like a raccoon died underneath their deck or something. Right? But you know, her kids started acting like possessed. She would say like classic poltergeist thing, like, you know, deep voices, say weird things. So they said they levitated and were thrown across rooms, but like, you know, yeah, sure. Okay. Everyone got involved, obviously, police, child protective services, hospitals, medical staff, social workers. They, you know, said they'd witnessed incidents of the nature that the Amons were perpetrating. Basically, it came down to like the Child Protective Services, the Department of Child Services, the DCS, basically said like, hey, okay, well, I mean, like, I'm taking them under protective order, because I think you're unwell, and we're gonna have them under our thing until like we can figure things out. She said like basically kids couldn't keep like their stories straight. They were very delusional kind of thing, and it pretty much what happened was that the clinical psychologists would conclude that like they're not possessed, they're just like, you know, their main caregiver thought that the mom had like a weird delusional system and would basically like, unfortunately, like the kids kind of picked up on that and like acted out to try and get like attention and stuff and like play off to what they thought their mom would want. So like kind of all fed into themselves. That's what psychologist says. I don't know anything about the details of the story, but that's basically what I'm reading here. That was what happened. So DCS came over, took the kids, had them away for a while. They eventually, which is real. So apparently some guy in 2012, Michael Magano, the priest at St. Stephen's Martyr Parish in Maryville, Indiana, performed 3 major exorcisms at his church and blessed her new home in Indianapolis. So they moved, obviously, because they said the house was all messed up. And they made, you know, obviously, DCS, they got a plan, they got her better, they got the custody back in 2020, in 2012 of their whatever. So that's the real story, right? Like that's what the story is based off of. Just, you know, a sad circumstance, really. I'm not here to say what the fuck went on. It doesn't matter to me. But what does matter to me is the last bit where the landlord of the Carolina Street house said there was no issues before and no issues after. But then a good friend, and if you're into like, you know, if you're into bullshit paranormal stuff, you know this man. We all know this man. A classic old bag man, Zach Baggins, made a documentary about the house in 2018, where he, as part of his film production, he demolished the house. He just destroyed it. Probably so no one else can, like, profit off of it like he does, or anyone tell him that the house isn't actually haunted, because he fucking bought it and destroyed it for his stupid-ass documentary. So that's really what made me, like, that was just an extra layer of making me mad about this story and this movie. When I looked out into the background of it, not only was it based off of a lot of like bullshit and just a sad situation, Zach Baggins had to come and like actually destroy a house for no reason other than his own fucking selfish thing. So that's that. That's the Deliverance, not to be confused with Deliverance. And I hope you all had a great time with that one. I certainly didn't. But that was the Available Post podcast, the podcast where I speak into the void. And yeah, so that's good. Garden update. My pumpkins are growing well. My tomatoes are growing. Everything there is going good. I got like a rabbit living inside my garden. And he's really cute. We call her Flower. She eats all my strawberry buds, all my strawberry flowers that grow, and sits there and just hangs out in my big garden maze of lettuce. That's that. Thank you very much. I'll catch you in the next one. Goodbye for now.